Nabil, last year at RSA, the topic was AI. This year, the topic is AI. You guys kind of do an audit or an analysis of that. Walk us through. How does that work?
So I like to caveat these things with my dislike for the term artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Because I actually think the word intelligence is a misnomer, because what we're dealing with doesn't have any type of sentience. At the root of it all, what we're dealing with is mathematics, and you're teaching a machine to analyze really large amounts of data and give you an output that to us look intelligent because they do it so fast with large amounts of data. So we have organizations that are building large language models, and then we have organizations that are trying to adopt large language models to help them with their day-to-day business operations, whether it's with their customers or their internal operations. So at NetSPI, we've been helping those organizations either learn how to test the models themselves to make sure that they're being built with integrity, and our organizations are coming to us asking for help in securing the environments where they may be deploying LLMs to help them with their business operations.
The thing with bias is interesting in that your background, your knowledge is going to be biased when you train it versus my knowledge, my background. How do you manage that?
That's a key part of us coming in as a third party who can help assess and give you a fresh perspective of what you're training the model with. Ultimately, the bias comes from the actual training data. Right. So if the people are introducing their bias and not recognizing that certain class of information is missing in the training, then obviously the output from the models are also going to be biased and inaccurate in many cases.
In these processes of auditing these models, what have you actually learned?
What we've learned is ultimately it's all mathematics. So in order to actually deceive a model or make it do something that it isn't intended to do, you really have to understand the mathematics behind the model itself. You know, how is it weighting certain things? How is it prioritizing certain things, etc. If you have insight into that, then it becomes very easy to confuse the model because you can abuse like edge and boundary cases of decision making that the algorithm's making to make the model behave in a way you want it versus the intended way. Being able to understand how the model is actually functioning and exploiting those edge cases is where the attackers will take advantage. And that's what we find is usually when we are testing models, those edge cases allow us to really, really go and exploit it and make it do something it's not intended to do.
My guess, if you're watching this, you're getting your business somewhat into AI and you've been playing with LLMs. Why not talk to the people over at NetSPI and they're going to help you with, well, not making mistakes, because they've got experience of looking at a lot of these. Check them out. There's a web address right there.